My name is Jordin Annett, and I will be talking about the hydropolics of the Okavango Delta. The Okavango Delta is situated in the northwestern corner of Botswana. It is primarily fed through two tributary rivers, the Kubango and the Kuito, which originate in Angola, flow through Namibia, and then end up in Botswana. This specific delta is a freshwater alluvial delta that has no ocean outlets. Therefore, any water that originates in Angola and flows through these rivers through Namibia into Botswana will, for the most part, end up in Botswana in this specific delta. This delta is one that experiences annual flooding, much like the Nile River Delta. And in both cases, there are mineral and sedentary deposits that come through, which then feed the agriculture area of Botswana, because as the wet season dries up, people come in and are able to use the rich farmland for agricultural and mining purposes, which are a huge part of Botswana's national income. It's regionally important for many reasons, mostly as you can see in the map picture shown on the right. Africa in this particular area is extremely arid. Angola is, for the most part, fairly water rich. However, they're extremely poor in every other sense, so they do not have the ability or infrastructure to really harness the water that they do have. So they do very much rely on the two rivers previously mentioned. Namibia is much more arid than Angola and desperately needs any water that it gets. So when the two rivers combine into the Okavango River, it is highly reliant on that river to get any kind of water. Same with Botswana. The Okavango River and then primarily the Delta are the only perennial river areas that Botswana has in its borders. This delta, because of its water and the sedentary parts of it, is extremely diverse ecologically and is home to many different endangered species like the elephant, white rhino, African wild dog, and cheetah. It is also used for multiple sources of income, such as tourism to come see these different animals, agriculture, as mentioned before, both within the delta and the water used for irrigation outside the delta. Botswana is primarily wealthy because of the diamonds that it's found. Therefore, any places like the Okavango Delta are routinely dredged in order to find different minerals, but primarily diamonds. And then the water is also used in all three countries for hydropower. It is also the delta, a traditional homeland for multiple people, which is an issue that I will discuss a little bit more in the next slides about how both traditional and national interests align or don't align. But like I said, it's a traditional homeland for multiple African people and includes much of their livelihood as well as their traditional homeland. As stated before, there are many different people who have interest in the Okavango Delta. International claims between Angola, Namibia, and Botswana as who has control of the water and how the water should be shared. There are national claims with the Botswana government wanting full control because they claim that since the delta is primarily within the Botswana sovereignty, that they should be the ones who decide how and where the water is used. There are communal claims both from tribal and historical people who state that because there have been centuries of their particular people in those areas, that they should have continued rights regardless of how international or national claims play out. There are also private property claims that come from colonial times as well as times that are now, where people have bought specific parts of the land and state that because they own that land and that land is theirs, regardless of other claims that come upon it. Then there are places that are specifically open access. The Okavango Delta is a World Heritage Site, so a few areas are open to all or claim to be open to all, but that is also a contention that other people within different claims, like international or communal claims, are struggling with. Right now, there are current issues. It's no surprise that the climate change is causing a problem. The area is experiencing less rainfall and is therefore becoming much more dry, which is causing issues both ecologically and economically as people struggle to fit what they need inside these new parameters that climate change is causing. Angola and Namibia have also decided that they need more hydropower and are therefore doing more to harness the rivers, which does directly impact the water flow and annual mineral dispersation into the alluvial fan of the delta, which is causing issues for the delta as well as for the people who rely on it.